do you remember when the stimulus bill was passed? The president designated the vice president to be what he called the sheriff. The sheriff, the law enforcement officer to enforce Washington's will on our state, to tell our legislature what to do, for the sheriff to be enforcing this. I had thought that the role of sheriff, if there is such a role, the role of monitoring and watching how money is spent and whether it's spent appropriately, is a job to be filled by the people of Missouri when they elect the state auditor. I had never imagined that the Vice President of the United States would be breezing in on a gust of wind to tell us what to do. And by the way, the job of state auditor is coming up, and it is very important that we fill that job with a Republican. Now, I suppose that it can be said, well, and he does say it from time to time, the president really doesn't mean it. This is an emergency, you know. He says he inherited these problems. And we have to take emergency measures to deal with the declining economy and to deal with the possibility of bank failures and auto companies going down and the like. So he's simply dealing with the emergency at hand. But that really isn't the case. This isn't government action serving emergencies and responding to emergencies. This is government action that springs out of real, deep, philosophical commitment to a point of view. And it was signaled 1 week after the president's election, when his future chief of staff, Rahm Emanuel, said, a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. The crisis was used in order to create the sea change in the relationship between Washington and the rest of the country. And then 100 days, and remember the hoopla, amazing media attention, on the 100 days of the glorious age of Barack Obama. And he had a press conference, and he tried to coin a phrase. It didn't really catch on. But the phrase was, new foundation. That's what he called it. The new foundation. Capital N, capital F, proper noun. That's how he wanted us to think about it. New foundation for America. Not dealing with an emergency. Not spending and then getting out of programs. No exit strategy at all, but a permanent new foundation for America. That's what he's trying to create. And for everybody in this room, we know that if a foundation for America is created on massive government, it is a foundation built on sand. Now, our Republican Party has always been at its best when it has had a central message. And this was true in the first decade of our party, when the central message was keeping the Union together, holding the Union together under the proposition that all men are created equal. That was the great moving message of the Republican Party. And since then, we've had a message, and we've got to elevate it. And that message is that the Republican party stands for containing government, not expanding it beyond any limits, but containing government. That is our message. That is what we are for. That is our mission. If we had 40% of the American people who identified themselves as Republicans, we could afford to have wings. We're too little to have wings. We've got 21%. We're like a little kiwi bird. Too little to have wings. Let's forget about the wings. And my suggestion is that we concentrate on our main message, which is containing government. And just for a time, we agree to disagree among ourselves, and we respect the opinions of each other, and we understand that people hold opinions very strongly, but just for now, we are going to focus exclusively on the big question of containing government in the United States. Now, why? Well, I think that there are a couple of practical reasons, and one reason of overriding principle for containing government. And one of the practical reasons is that if we are in fact going to double the national debt in 5 years and triple it in 10 years, this is going to have terrible consequences for the health and for the future of our country. Most of you are too young to have grandchildren. I have 13. One of them is John Stillman, who is here today. Put up your hand. I might say that John was just elected president of the student body of John Burroughs School. And, you know, when you're in my shoes, our shoes, the election result you could possibly have. How can we pass on a national debt that's twice, 3 times what it is today? How can we do that to them? Don't we care about our children? Is it just me? I don't think so. Second practical reason. The federal government just isn't very good at running stuff. I mean, can you imagine the people who are running the post office and Amtrak, running the healthcare system of the United States? And they say, this to me is great. If we, here's the word, invest $1.5 trillion in a new federal health care program, that notwithstanding the fact that Medicare is going broke by the year 2017, somehow we're going to save money. Now, I think we should have a contest. I'm going to tell you, if anybody after this program can come up to me and tell me a wackier idea than that, I will give them the Glass Eagle.